Hello guys, you're here once again with us, Jermaine and...
Itai, of course.
Of course, why of course?
Because I'm always like the main presenter, the most stylish one.
The main?
Oh, yeah,
Calm yourself. Anyway, hello guys, we're here once again to talk about feminism. And we have a guest with us today, and his name's Nathan. So Nathan, what does yeah, you know. So Nathan, what does feminism mean to you personally?
Personally, feminism, what does it mean to me?
Yeah.
Well, first of all, to me, it's an idea, a good idea. It's, in my experience, I'm 33 now.
Yeah.
I didn't know about feminism until I was maybe in my late teens, like maybe 16, 17, 18. So I was raised by like a lot of women. There's a lot of women in my family. So I was always used to, there being strong women, character women, and I never once heard them mention feminism, like ever. So once I did start hearing about feminism and all the ideas about it, I was like, oh, well, this has kind of been how I've felt my whole life, sort of thing. But nowadays, with like the new age stuff, it seems to be the idea of feminism, like equality and power to the women and stuff like that, it seems to have changed a little bit, like the narrative changed a little bit, like everyone's got their own agenda. So
True.
if you're like left wing or right wing, their feminism is going to be like different. And so they start infighting, and then us guys, we're like, well, what exactly is it that you want, sort of thing? And then you're hearing conflicting ideas and stuff like that. But feminism itself, I think is positive, it's necessary, it is what it is. Feminists, that's where I think maybe the problem starts to come up, because feminists are just people, and people have their own ideas and stuff.
That's true, yeah.
So let's say feminism is like a cookbook, right? Now, if you're a really bad cook, you can use a cookbook, but you still might get some things wrong. And depending on what you like to eat, like you might add, I don't like that part of the cookbook, I'm going to stick to... So people like pick and choose certain things. And so I've noticed that quite a lot, like you have all these different type of feminism and things like pro-life and pro-choice and body shaming and slut shaming and all this stuff. Like some feminists will say, like the whole slut shaming thing, like slut walk and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, like Amber Rose.
Yeah, so I'm pro-ho.
Oh, yo, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, like, if you want to be a hoe, be a hoe. I'm okay with that.
Okay.
And feminists seem to be okay with that as well. Like, women own their bodies. But then they'll shame men for going to strip clubs, for example. Or for paying for sex, or do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
So it's like, well, what is it? Like, if these women are facilitating men, and you're saying power to the women, then why are you shaming the men for, do you know what I mean, supporting the women? Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
It's true.
and, like, no one's ever answered that question. They just kind of like, a lot of feminists, in my experience, no, I'm just going to generalize, fuck it. A lot of it is based on like feeling, how they feel about things.
Yeah.
With feminism, it seems to be pretty straightforward things like equality, if we do the same job, let's get paid the same. Like, that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
But how I feel about it doesn't matter, as long as, do you know what I mean? Like that's a fact. Like 2 + 2 is 4. With a lot of feminists, I've noticed, is that for them it's 2 + 2 means 5 equals 5. And if you say no, it's not, 2 + 2 is 4, they go, oh fuck you, you hate women, or you know what I mean? You're like, no, but like there's a lot of them don't think that they are wrong, because they identify as feminists. So whatever they say, however they feel, is correct. And if you're against that, then you're obviously against, which makes it hard for guys, because if 2 different feminists are telling you 2 different things, who are you supposed to, do you know what I mean? Like, if one feminist says to you, yeah, 2 + 2 is 5, and you go, all right, fine. Then you go to another feminist and say, yeah, well, 2 + 2 is 5. You guys told me that. And they're like, no, it's not. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? Like, it's difficult for men nowadays. Like, you know, there's that meme like of asking a girl like, what do you want? What do you like? You go on a date with a girl like, what do you want? She's like, I don't know. What do you want? Like, it seems like that's starting to happen with feminism now. Like women know what they want, and when you try to give it to them, they're like, no, we want some other stuff. Or so it's a bit tricky. But feminism itself, like, I have no problem with, no issues with, you know, pro-choice. I'm fine with that. If you want to kill your baby, kill the baby. I don't have a problem with pro-life either. All that abortion stuff. Obviously, like things like rape and rape culture. I agree with that. Like, men are pretty shitty and can do some awful things. So I can understand that they need our support in that, and helping telling other men how to, you know, not be obnoxious and stuff like that. But the things like you know, equal pay and all this stuff, every time I watch a debate about it, it's always someone saying women do get paid equal, and there's always someone saying women don't get paid equal. And I'm like, well, I work with women. A lot of people that I know, like a lot of women that I know, get paid more than me. Now, I don't know if their job's better or whatever. As people, they're not better than me, but they get paid better than me. Like, so from my experience, like in terms of equal pay and equality, I see that at least some of the people I know are getting paid like whatever they're worth, sort of thing. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know the facts and the figures about the equal pay stuff. I don't really care about that kind of stuff either, to be honest. Mine's more to do with the personal stuff, like our relationships with women.
Yeah, I understand that.
I
think I can relate with that, you know. Obviously, I would say that relationship between men and women are very sensitive, very delicate, very fragile, you know. And like I was saying in last week's episode, that, you know, if we just if the women just opened up to us a bit more and talked to us about this kind of stuff, like every now and then we could have better relationships with women. And that obviously based on the equal pay thing, I had like this, not epiphany, but I was like reflecting on the stuff today, that, you know, okay, if a man and woman have the exact same role, same job, same place, I can understand why a woman wants to be paid the same as that man. But like when it comes to different job roles, there are lots of women that are paid a lot more than men based on what jobs they're doing, what careers they have. So in my head, I think, what's the difference then, kind of thing. Whereas, like, I'm not attacking, and I'm just asking out of curiosity, you know, because if you have a job that's, and it's same job as a man, and the pay, you're not enjoying the pay, it's less than a man, then maybe you can find a career that you like, you enjoy, and the pay is a lot more than that pay. Then, because let's say you've left that job, you have a better job, and it's more pay, wouldn't that woman still be getting paid more than that man because she's moved to another job that's a higher pay? And
also, like, people that I work with that do the same job as me or have the same job role, we get paid different. For, like, some people get bonuses, some people get pay rises. Do you know what I mean? Stuff. All this, there's a lot of little variables that go into it. So no one's, like, I don't think there's anyone that I work with who's a woman whose base pay is lower than, say, a guy's base pay. I'm pretty sure everyone's getting paid the same. Obviously, that according to them, that's not the case. They get paid, I don't know, 30% less or whatever overall. But obviously, like you said, different job roles. Like, I don't know, maybe a fireman gets paid more than a nurse, for example. Now, is that equal? I don't know. Like, that would be, should all emergency services get paid exactly the same sort of thing? Like, obviously there's more firemen than firewomen. Like, that, then I would understand, like, if firewomen who did the exact same job as firemen got paid, I don't know, £3-4 less or whatever it is, then I'd be like, okay, yeah, that's a bit messed up, especially if, like, they've been there the same amount of time, do the same hours, same amount of service, whatever. But yeah, the pay gap stuff, I don't really look into that too much, but like you said about the relationship stuff, I don't think, like, I think equality is a made up thing. Like, it's an ideology. I think it's made up so that people at the bottom have something to live up to. Like, if you want, like, equality is a thing, a bar, and it's something you should strive for, and then that will encourage people to, like, work more, sort of thing. Like, yeah, like, we want equality. All right, well, if you want equality, you got to do something about it. So they look how hard I work. We work in, like, sort of thing. So, like, actual equality in the world, I don't think it exists. Like, I don't actually think equality exists, because nobody treats anyone equal.
It's true.
Yeah,
It's true.
like I don't treat my friends equal. I have friends who not that I like them more than others, but there's some friends who I'll call more. I'll message. I don't call any of my friends. I'll message them more than others. Do you know what I mean? Like, stuff like that. Like, that's just how it is. Like, friends that you make fun of more. Doesn't matter whether they're men or women. And I get a lot of stick because I make fun of, like, my lady friends, for example, and then they'll call me sexist. I was like, I'm 10 times worth of my male friends. Like, I make fun of everybody. Like, no one is exempt. Like, but it's the way our relationship is. That's what it's based on. It's not based on you actually just being a woman. It's just based on whether I like you enough to make fun of you and stuff like that.
And what I've noticed as well, like, with friendships, if you take the piss out of someone, it means you're comfortable with them. And also that we shouldn't always think. We should always look. Obviously, yes, there's a man, there's a woman. We should look beyond that, because at the end of the day, we should look at the person for who they are. So if like your women friends, if they knew you're that kind of person, then yeah, fair enough, it might make them feel some type of way. But if they know that that's you as a person, that's how you are, then it shouldn't be such an issue. Whereas if the woman didn't know you at all, then obviously I can understand where she's coming from.
Yeah, like, for example, I will say a sexist joke to my female friends, but I wouldn't say it to just a random stranger.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, unless I knew that I would have to speak to them, like, and I was going to meet them, I might say a little joke just to break the ice or something like that. But I would never just be, like, outwardly sexist. But some people might think that I am, just because, do you know what I mean, the way I talk to my friends, sort of things.
All those memories from their past, and they might think, okay, you're just like those other men. Like, I understand, like, where women have had bad experiences with men, and I do apologize in advance. As men, as human beings, we're all learning and growing. We're growing every single day, you know. Obviously, with each experience, that woman might hold on to the past experience of that guy and never actually get to know another guy for who he truly is, because she sees him as a man and may think, oh, he might do the same thing as this last person.
I actually don't really have a problem with that. Like, do what you want, but that doesn't make it true. Like I'm saying, like, 2 + 2, you can think 2 + 2 is 5, but that don't make it true. So if you want to treat all men like the other guys who are treating you bad or whatever, then do that. That's only cutting off your nose to spite your fate. You know what I mean? But that doesn't mean that it's true. That doesn't mean that all men are like that.
It's true.
You know what I mean? That's just, you are unfortunate enough to meet a bunch of bad guys in a row or whatever. Maybe that's what you're interested in. So, do you know what I mean? Like I said, I'm pro ho. So if I keep meeting, so let's say, for example, I meet a bunch of girls and they're all hoes, and I'm like, do you know what? These girls are all hoes. They keep cheating on me and blah 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 and all this stuff. That's my problem. Do you know what I mean? But I own it. You know what I mean? I'll go to a strip club and then I'll do all these whatever. But I personally don't judge all women based on my own experiences.
I get that. I understand that.
Yeah, but if you want to do that, then, you know what I mean, there's no law in the universe that says you can't. It's just you're kind of making your life more difficult by doing that. You know what I mean? Especially with women. Like, it's not like the world just in general is harsh. You know what I mean? Especially for women. So the last thing you want to do is make it harder for yourself. And that's why I say, like, guys, we should not necessarily make it easier for women, but we should at least be mindful of it. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, like, be mindful that yes, she will judge you based on other guys, and it's not your fault, it's her experiences. So all you need to do is let her know that you're aware of it, and that, do you know what I mean? Like, you're not gonna force her to give you a chance or whatever, just because, do you know what I mean, you want to prove that you're a nice guy. You don't even have to prove that you're a nice guy. You know what I mean? If you're a piece of shit, then you're a piece of shit. Like, that's your prerogative. But yeah, that's.
And I think it's only logical for women to, like, based on their past experience of men, it's only logical for them to be wary of the next guy because of their previous experiences. I think it's quite logical for them to be cautious and, like, just be aware of how the other person may be, you know. And if she notices that the next guy may be a bit different, then it's her decision to open up to that guy, you know, and see what he's all about. I think the important thing about humanity, both men and women, is that we should just get to know each other for who that individual is, you know.
Yeah, and like going back to feminism. Like when it comes to relationships between like men and women and stuff like that, feminism it doesn't break down, but it I don't know how much it actually helps, like in a relationship, like whether it's boyfriend and girlfriend or just like a friendship or whatever. I can understand like in a professional kind of mutual way, but like in a personal relationship, like I don't really know how feminism helps because your relationships are personal. Do you know what I mean? Whereas like I would never, like the way I talk to my friends, for example, like I said, my lady friends, I wouldn't speak to my colleagues unless they were like my friends. Do you know what I mean? Like it's like so there's times and places for things, but with feminists nowadays, it's like the agenda's very, especially with like things like Me Too. Yeah. So that's a serious thing, isn't it? Like there's a bunch of creepy guys fucking around, and they need to go in it. It's hard, like for all the guys that aren't like that. When women are pushing this Me Too thing onto them, and it's like, well, what do you like? That's not me. Like, I don't know what you want me to do. Like, what do you want us to do? Do you want us to expose them? Like, we're not the one going through it, it's you guys, and like they are exposing them. But even like with that, like there's some woman getting raped right now in some third world country that no one gives a shit about. Do you know what I mean? But like there's no there's like no one, like are people really thinking about them? Like I don't know if they are. I think people are more just concerned about their own interests in their own community, and like in the world we live, like in sunny England, with social media and stuff like that, it's feminism can work here because the way our society is built on, like, our society is quite high up, so we can create any kind of ideology and push it, and people will hear it and people will respond to it and work around it and stuff like that. But at the bottom, like even working class people here and poor people here always seem to kind of get forgotten when it comes to these kind of movements, like, and stuff there. So I'm always a bit wary, like whenever I listen to people speak, whether it's a feminist or a misogynist, like sexist guys, racist, whoever, they always seem to be talking about their personal own little bubble. They never seem to really talk about how it affects outside the bubble.
I understand. Thank you very much. You've been very, very, very insightful and very enlightening, you know, talking with you, you know.
So Nathan, do you believe that feminism in the wrong hands can be used as a weapon against men, like false accusations or false prejudice?
Yeah, absolutely. It's like fire. Like you can use fire to cook a meal, or you can use it to burn a house down. And some feminists are just trying to start fires. Like there's like some of them are just trying to kill, like literally kill all men or kill all. Do you know what I mean? Like, and then that fucks it up for the other women who are just trying to cook a meal and trying to keep the house warm and stuff like that. But yeah, I think it can be weaponized. I think it is getting weaponized, and you know, us men just need to make sure our hoses are by the bedside, because you never know when they're going to try and burn your house down.
Yes, earlier this year, for example, on the Big Brother TV show, the actor Ryan Thomas, who was falsely accused of assaulting a woman. So a woman made a false claim of him assaulting a woman. I'll reenact what he did. He just did like false sparring, something like that. And she says he made contact and it hurt her. There was a whole uproar and controversy about it. What are your thoughts around that?
Well, it was on a TV show, so I'm assuming everyone saw it, right?
Everyone saw the clip. Everyone knew he was innocent, even though he didn't know he was innocent within the Big Brother house. It was a very complicated situation.
So imagine that was just in a normal house with no cameras and stuff like that, we would probably all think, wow, fuck this guy sort of thing. Do you know what I mean? Like, we always do kind of, like when a woman says that a man has done something or has been abusive or something like that, we do usually believe them. Not because we're taking her side or anything, it's just that that's, you know, I usually, like, I would believe a woman up until the point where sometimes you can't always tell when they're lying, but some women do lie. In this case, she did lie, and we all saw it. And once again, this is where, like, the weaponized feminism thing comes in, because I guess she was expecting everyone to believe her, and people do that. Like, people will lie literally for their own gain, and I don't think feminism is about gaining and taking away from something, like, do you know what I mean, like trying to ruin lives and stuff like that. It's about uplifting and making things even and equal for people, innit? So yeah, stuff like that. Like, I don't want to say fuck her, because I don't feel that way. Like, you know, she did what she did. She's a shitty person. You know, sometimes, guys, we need to clean up, and we need to fix up, and we need to learn women. Like, we expect things too much. We don't, like, he probably thought, yeah, I'm just going to do this. He probably should have thought, this woman's a bit crazy. Like, maybe I shouldn't play too much with her, do you know what I mean? Like, she could tell that, like, she was a little bit, do you know what I mean? A bit crazy, not crazy.
Yeah, but is it wrong to try and be friendly? Because just because she's crazy, not everyone can really see that coming.
Yeah. Okay, it's not wrong to be friendly, but you have to analyze the situation. You have to read the situation and know what's going on, because that can happen. You can play fight and she can scream, you know, wolf, and then it can get you into trouble. So you need to just be mindful that it's possible. I'm not saying every time you meet a woman you should be like, ooh, like, but you just need to read people and read women, and I think that doesn't happen enough. Like, it's not really something you can teach. It's something that you have to learn from experience. Like, he'll probably learn from this. A lot of guys, like, don't interact with loads of women on that personal level, so they don't know how to act around women, especially when they like a woman. So it's important that that you learn, you know, women and how to behave around them, and that you do need to like, you do have to sometimes compromise, and you do need to hold back sometimes and stuff like that. Personally, I don't, but I feel like I've learned enough. But yeah, just, you know, be mindful of women.
Yes. And also, earlier this year, the actor Henry Cavill, you know, the current Superman, he was caught in a controversy for saying he doesn't want to give up the chase, the thrill of the chase, or chasing women. What do you think about that? Was he right to say that, or was he wrong?
He was absolutely right to chase that. Like, no man, like, that's never going to change. Men are going to there's never going to be a time where a man sees a woman and goes, I can't chase her. Like, it we're always going to be like, oh, there's the woman, there's the thing that I was born to be with, I'm going to do something. Now, if you're not a good, let's say it's hunting, for example. I know this is going to sound misogynistic, but like, let's say it's hunting, right? You got,
well, let's say searching.
Right,
searching,
yeah,
yes.
Gathering, like, you know, the woman is the thing that you want, right? A mate in life.
Yes, we all.
Yeah. So that's what I was saying earlier about, you need to learn women, because you need to understand that you can't just go up to them and go, oh, I want you, and hit her over the head with a club and throw her over your shoulder and take her back to your cave.
No, that's a bit caveman. That's true.
Like, and I think a lot of people misinterpreted what he said for that, as opposed to going up to a woman and saying, hey, I've got some nice rocks back in my cave, do you want to come and see them? He's saying that he doesn't want to give up that approach. Like, you have to approach a woman and you have to offer her something, do you know what I mean? Like, you can't just go up to her and expect her to, oh, you're Superman, let me, he's saying that it's dangerous now to go up to a woman. and approach them with any kind of like if you lack the skill to get a woman, it's almost virtually, well, not impossible, but do you know what I mean? It's like it's going to be really hard. And I think what did he say, that he's going to give up the chase? Oh, he's thinking of giving up the chase. Oh
No, he doesn't want to give up the chase. He misses the chase.
Yeah, like he doesn't want to. He's tired of, and a lot of men feel like that, are tired of going up to a woman and being, hey, I was wondering if, you know, maybe you'd like to, you know, get to know me. I'm a nice guy. Like, no, they want to go up to him and say, hey, look, I'm the shit, and you should have some of this because it might benefit you in life. Like, yeah, that's a bit arrogant, but who gives it? Like, whatever works. Obviously, as long as you're not hitting them over the head with a club, and do you know what I mean? Like, at least you're not taking them by force. But I think like, it used to be force. People used to take women by force. That got ended. Then it was the chase. Like, oh, she's playing hard. I can't take her by force now. So now she can walk away, she can run away. So now I've got to chase her and like prove to her that she should come with me. Now that's kind of ending. And he's saying that he doesn't want that to end because you're going to end up with a bunch of men just twiddling their thumbs, walking up to women. And what's going to happen is women are going to start looking at men twiddling their thumbs and being like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, chase me. Like, what's going to happen when all men decide, all right, we're not going to chase women anymore, we're just going to stand around and twiddle our thumbs? What's going to happen? Are they going to start chasing us? Maybe that's where we're heading. Maybe the roles are going to reverse. Like, the women are going to be the chasers, and the women are going to start making more money and wearing the trousers, and the men are going to stay at home. And maybe like, which is nothing wrong with that, but as a society, we all need to be on the same page. Like, we all need to know what's going on. If that's the way the things are going to go, make it concrete. Don't like pussyfoot around and be like, oh, you know, some men are, you know, too aggressive and blah blah blah. And then when a guy is like, oh, excuse me, can it? And they go, oh, that guy's a pussy. He beat man up and stuff. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can't be both. You got to let us all know like what's going on. What do you want? Like. And so, in relation to feminism, like I was saying, the messaging, like, is a few different messages out there, and like I said, it can be confusing. We all have to live in the same society, so there needs to be, like, the message needs to be a lot more clearer for everyone, men and women, young, old. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it needs to be clear for everyone, so that we can at least. Like, once it's clear for everyone and everyone understands what's going on, then we can progress to the like next level of society or civilization or whatever. But the way things are going right now, it's quite bendy. Like, you know, there's bendy rulers. Like, it's bending at the middle, and like, if we don't sort it out, it's gonna snap soon. So feminism needs to, well, not feminism, feminists need to be a bit more concrete and not so aggressive, because maybe, you know, I mean, we don't like that.
Okay, and finally, my last question that I would like to ask: if you're not approving of men giving chase, do you think that can be a bit, how do you say, where does it get awkward? For example, if a woman doesn't want to be chased and a man carries on chasing her, isn't that a bit too creepy? Or
yeah, and men are creeps, and there's a saying, 50 no's and a yes is a yes, which is super rapey and creepy and shouldn't apply. But in the real world where we live, if you want something, if you go for a job and they say no, you don't give up on getting the job. And I'm not saying women are jobs, I'm just saying, like, it just seems like loads of different things in society, when you want something, you kind of want to go for it. And I think, like I said, there are certain skills, and we need to learn women, and we need to learn that when they say no, some women do mean no, and some mean not now. And I know that's going to sound really bad, but it is that in the actual real world, that's how it is. Like we need to learn women, and we need to learn from women and from men as well, and we need to come to like a common ground understanding so that we can progress. Otherwise things are going to fall apart, and we're going to just end up in this rut that we're in now with creepy men. Men are going to become more creepy, and it's going to get even worse. Like, do you know what I mean? So yeah, that's kind of what I think on that.
Well, thank you. That was a good interview. That was pretty fun.
Can I say one
Thank you,
thing?
Nathan. Oh, sure, of course.
Be a shark, not a tuna. This is for men. Be a shark, not a tuna. That's it.